Okay, so I'm with Andy Hayes, who is a new name to many of us. He recently finished 16th at the Europeans, and he was second for at home. So, Andy, how did you feel? How did you feel after your frustration of seventh place as an under 23 at the trials?
I flew back to the trials on the Tuesday after nationals. Sort of normally I suffer quite badly from jet lag, so took it very easy that week. Going into Liverpool, felt pretty confident about coming back. None of the other under 23s had flown back, so I thought I had a decent chance of placing quite highly. First lap in, and it suddenly hit me when we hit the mud. It all sort of jet lag and the heavy going conditions. It was very frustrating. So obviously finished seventh and was pretty distraught after that for a couple of days. Got a phone call saying I was reserve, and sort of by Tuesday, I guess, had given up on any hope of making that GB team. It was flying back, sort of feeling that I was in shape to make that team. It was pretty disappointing to finish seventh.
Okay, so can you describe how you felt when you got that call saying that you were going to replace Johnny Hay at Budapest?
It was an odd one, to be honest, because obviously Mick Woods was the team manager. He's the one that called me. So the second he said, "Oh, it's Mick Woods," I sort of knew what was coming, and I was sort of like absolutely over the moon, made up. But then it's hard. Like his athlete was the one that had to drop out, so I felt pretty bad for Johnny with the tonsillitis. So it was quite an hard phone call, sort of trying to keep my emotions in sort of check to not go too crazy. But I guess I got pretty lucky. It's a shame Johnny had to drop out, but I was more than happy to step in for my first best. So.
Okay, so how did you find your first GB experience?
To be honest, it was really quite surreal, and I guess it wasn't until after the race that I actually sort of truly felt that I'd earned my place in that team. For the first couple of days, it felt like I was here because someone was ill. As fantastic an experience as it was just very surreal. And then, loosened up a little bit after the race.
So, what have you learnt from your first experience representing GB?
Everyone's really nice. I don't know. It was a really odd race. I sort of going into that as the seventh man on a six-man team. I didn't feel sort of any pressure, which normally I'm a nervous wreck or can be before races. But I was quite chilled, sort of wanting to go out there and prove that Liverpool was a disappointment and that I was a better runner than my seventh place. So I actually felt very relaxed going to that race. It was a different one to, say, running in the States where you've got huge fields to just take off, like just smash the first mile, and you're always feeling tired. Well, always feeling like you're pushing it. I was a bit more controlled going into Budapest and worked my way through. So it was a fantastic experience to get to race against all these Europeans. I really enjoyed it, actually. It's one of the races not enjoyed a race for a while, but I enjoyed that one.
Okay, so has training differed this year to previous years? Because, like I said at the beginning, you're kind of a new name. I know you ran 8 minutes indoors, which is really, really good. But, have you been doing anything differently?
I tore my hip flexor sort of at the start of the outdoor season. I took a bit of time off for that, and then had a very long build-up to this cross season. I'd started cross-country training early June, which managed to get up to decently high mileage, I guess, for a mile of 3K runner. And it was just basically looking after myself more than I have done previously. Rolling out, getting massages, ice bath. So I guess the other main difference from my first year out there was that I wasn't sort of looking to hit things as hard as just tempos and sessions. I was sort of being a little bit more cautious, which allowed me to run the high mileage but still have quality sessions. I think, and looking back on my first year, I was sort of going into 10 mile tempos. I almost turned them into races, which eventually caught up with me with the hip flexor. So I was a bit more cautious, and I think the solid block of training from June to, I guess, December worked out.
Okay, do you think that obviously you're in America racing, the standard is very high with the top collegiates? Do you think that's actually brought you on and kind of improved your performance? Hence the hence the recent performances, especially at Budapest, because you were 44th at the NCAAs. Do you think that brought you on to running so well?
Well, I guess that's the reason. That's the reason most people head out there, is because the standard is so ridiculously high. I finished 44th at nationals, which was gutting because 4 spots outside All American, so I was pretty distraught after that one as well. But I was 4th on the 23, I think, behind Farrell, O'Hare, and Luke. So the standard is just ridiculously high out there, and that's why everyone goes out, because although obviously there's some cracking runners out back in the UK, just the depth of the NCAA is ridiculous. I mean, I think 30 odd people ran some 4 last year indoors, which is pretty impressive. So every race you go into, you're going to have some tough competition. So yeah, it's definitely brought me on a lot, because I guess I was all right at the end of my undergrad. Nothing spectacular. Got the offer from Tulsa. And yeah, pleased that I went out there.
Okay, so what are the plans for 2013?
Okay, first off, I guess senior GB vest at Edinburgh. Pretty pleased with that one. So 8K in Scotland should be good. Hopefully mix it up with some of the big guys. Then into the indoor season. Keep the miles high, I guess, and then I have to break the barriers, I guess. Go out after 4 minutes, get that sort of chip off my shoulder, just get that over and done with. Then see how fast I can go at 3K indoors. I really want to sort of hit that hard, try and get as close to national, sort of, close to getting indoors as possible, national indoors as possible. Then moving on to outdoors, 5K at Mount Sac would be an interesting debut at that distance. I'm actually quite looking forward to that. I didn't think I would be. Normally like my 15s, but I think a fast 5K would be really sort of be nice. But still trying to stay with 15s, because I think that my PB's still not particularly impressive, so if I can get that down, that'd be really good.
Okay, and if you could give a tip to any youngsters coming up the ranks, what would that tip be?
In terms of heading out to the States, or
well, anything you want, like training, heading to the States, or whatever.
Well, I guess I like the route that I went in terms of 3 years undergrad in the UK, then heading out. And you're in the States as a grad with 2, maybe 3 years eligibility. You're just stronger, older, more experienced when you head out there. Sort of, you see some of the 18-year-olds who head out, and I don't know, it might not work straight away for them. But if you're going out 21, 22, you feel a little bit more experienced and know how to handle things. However, with the sort of tuition fees, I guess people are slightly more keen at going at 18, 19, which is fair enough. I guess you've just got to find the right place that fits. I was very, very lucky with Tulsa, because they contacted me, and to be honest, I didn't really go searching many other places, because they had everything I wanted. They had cracking facilities. Obviously, Chris O'Hare was second in the mile indoors that year. John Beattie had been out there running very well, and had a good feeling about the coaches. So I think you've just got to, I guess, look around and find a place that you think will suit your running. and you're happy spending 2 up to 4 years, 5 years of your life there.
Awesome, Andy. Well, from 8Lane, we wish you the best for the rest of the year and looking on to 2013.